Hello everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and as the title has suggested, this is about a birthday. My birthday to be precise, and it was my 66th birthday yesterday. And I thought I'd show you what I'd got. One of the things I got was from my wife, this, which is perfect plastic putty. And you think, oh, great, that's a really nice birthday present. Well, it is, because it belongs to part and parcel of another present. And I wanted this to go along with it. Now, this present is something I've been after for probably about a year. Well, not this precise present, but the idea of it, shall we put it that way, for about the last year. And what really turned it was about 8 months ago. I saw Kevin over at Penwithers. If you haven't seen his channel, go over there. It's got a fantastic amount of videos on there and really lovely layout, and it just makes me jealous as hell. But he showed a O-gauge Western, which is one of his favourite locos, perhaps his favourite loco, not one of, but his favourite locos. He's probably got about 10, 12 of them. But he bought a O-gauge kit, and I've watched that building up, and I just so wanted to do it. I really did. Not actually the Western, but I wanted to do something else. But the actual concept of building an O-gauge layout kit really impressed me. And it's something, as I say, which I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And seeing that from Kevin 8 months ago really instilled it in me that I thought, yep, I'm going to do that one day. So I talked it over with my wife, and I didn't actually talk it over with her. I said, in typical Sweeney fashion, "Oi, bitch, I want one of them." Now, within about 5 seconds, I was on the kitchen floor, straight down, bang. So I had to have a rethink on another way of trying to get this kit, because obviously that method didn't work. Not surprising, really, is it? So after lots and lots of pleading and begging and going on about it and showing my wife the videos on YouTube of all these fantastic O-gauge kits you can get and seeing them run, she eventually relented and said, okay, fine, go ahead. So I did. And the reason why I'm holding this is because what I wanted to do was to get as much as I possibly could, and so that I didn't have to stop halfway through the build and go, oh god, I need one of those. So I've done a lot of research, and I think I've got hopefully the majority of the extras, apart from the kit, that I need to carry on building this without stopping and having to wait for other stuff. Now, to go along with this is that because I'm now 66, I've decided to retire at long last, and my last day of work will be at Christmas. So come Christmas, that will be it. I will be finished with work and I will be unemployed, I guess. And so I will have plenty of time on my hands. I'm sweating buckets here. I'm just drenched. It is so hot here today. So if you see sweat pouring off me and dripping down, that's what it is. Yeah, so I'll have plenty of time as from January next year to do loads and loads of stuff, including the kit. So let's put this perfect plastic putty to one side and see what the kit really consists of. And believe me, it is a stormer. So let's put that over there. We'll get the box. And inside the box, I'm not going to do an unboxing thing, I will just show you what's actually in it. Now, these are the instructions, and there's 12 pages of them, and I've read this back to front, upside down, inside out, probably about 15-20 times, because I was allowed to have the instructions, but I wasn't allowed to have the kit until yesterday, which is fair enough. So it's very extensive. It was one of those things where I thought, am I taking on too much for my ability? But looking at this, no, I'm not. This doesn't frighten me at all, what I've got here. I think it's all doable. The only thing I can think of is that it's going to take time. It's not a 5-minute build. This is going to take a good few months to do. And apart from that, I want it to take that long. I don't want it to be over in a couple of weeks. I want to spread this out. I want to enjoy it. So there's the instructions. As you can see, it's a class 50, and I've opted for, they do two versions, a as-built version, in other words, as it came out of the factory in phase 1, and they do a phase 2, which is a picture of what's on here. Actually, it's got the head codes, the discs at the top. My one's actually got head codes at the top, and there's a few difference in details to the side panels and the roof, but they're all minor details. There's nothing major between the two. So they are the instructions. I've taken all the foam filler which they put inside the box out. I've taken everything apart out of the tissue, checked them all, checked them off the checklist. I've got everything here, so it should all be hunky-dory. And the kit is basically, I think it's split into two kinds of builds. You can build the body or the chassis and the bogie. So it's quite convenient really, because if I'm stuck on doing something on the body because I'm waiting for paint or something, I can carry on with doing the chassis, the bogies or whatever. So it's a nice way of doing it. It's quite a distinct line between the two. So let's have a look and see what's inside. It's all nicely packaged, as you can see. So here's one of the side frames, and I couldn't understand from the kit that they said it was made out of like an ABS polystyrene stuff, and I was thinking of, really, polystyrene? That's like the stuff you get for packaging, which is really light and airy, but no, it's very thick, very dense and very, very strong. And if I hold that up, you can see the thickness here. That thickness there is the thickness of all that side. It is not a flimsy shell by any means. It's a cracking piece of kit, it really is. So that's one of the sides. Pop that there. I think this is another one of the sides. Yes, it is. This is the roof, along with the fan and the base for the fan. Let's see, that slips on there like that. Let's pop that down there. And the roof, as you can see, is very well detailed. Dripping with sweat here. Very well detailed. That part of the roof section there, for instance, on the facelift version, that gets covered in. But because this is the first iteration of it, that will stay exactly as it is. I should be leaving that. So that's the roof. The chassis. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but just give you a gist of it. So there you go, that's the chassis. Room there for a speaker if needed. and in here is a cab end. You can see the position of the head coat go up there. A lot of the holes are pre-drilled, but the instructions do say that holes need to be drilled out, and I think they're more pilot holes than anything else. So obviously we've got two of those. The other one, similar thing. And the rest are bogey shells, side frames. I think this is a bogey here. Yep. That's a bogey, and I think this is probably the side frames to go, which is. So these are the frames which go on the outer side of the bogey. So if I can get this right, that should pop into there, like that. Obviously this part here gets trimmed off, and that is just the other side, but that gives you there an idea. So that gives you, that's where the wheels will sit in here, in that section there, sorry, this one, and then that one will fit this side along here. So that's those, and all the rest really are repeats, more bogies, bulkheads, the tanks underneath the chassis here, and then of course we've got all the metal hardware. So we've got, that's the white metal there, cast white metal, which all has to be either soldered or glued on. There's not an awful lot of soldering according to the kit. They tend to use super glue, different variants of super glue, I have to say, and that is cast brass with millions of bits, which are kind of identified in the instructions but not actually labelled. It doesn't say like that goes somewhere. You look at it and go, right, well I think looking at the instructions that is where it goes. A lot of it is self-explanatory, a lot of it isn't, so I may get a little bit stuck on that, but no worries, I'm sure I'll sort it out. And these are the axle bearings to go in the bogies, along with other screws. There's a bolt there which has to be soldered to a mount, brass etch mount, which is in here, to mount the bogie to the chassis. You've got brass etchings for all sorts of things. There's a bulkhead there. It's totally complete as regards the kit. So I'm in heaven at the moment. They even give you brass wire for handrails, and a final one here which will be used for mounting the brake shoes and tie bars. So that's what that will be used for. So it's a very, very complete kit, except for the motor, the wheels, what else? Any finishes, like glues, etc. So all those sort of things are extra. So along with this, as I said earlier on, I didn't want to just get this. I wanted to make sure that if I did get this, that I could afford, or my wife could afford, the other parts to go with it. So I didn't order anything until I was absolutely sure that was the case, and obviously that I had permission to do it. So let's put that to one side and let's see what else there is. Let's push that up there. I'll tell you what I do. I don't know if this will work, but is that in shot? Yes, it is. Let's just see roughly if I can build this up in front of your very eyes. Whether this will work or not, I don't know. It goes around that way. Kind of like that ish. This will all be glued together, obviously. There you go, quick as that. So that gives you an idea of, well, you can see the size of me. That'll give you an idea of the size of the logo. It's huge, massive. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it to bits already. I really can't wait to start building this. Alright, let's put all this to one side, because there's more, believe me, there's more. Right, so what's next? Well, what's next is this little box. In this little box is the other bits. They're just instructions. Believe it or not, out of all the tools I've got, I haven't got a set of micro drills, which I'm definitely going to need for this model, and it goes up from 0.3 of a millimetre right the way up to 1.5 millimetre, and along with that I bought a pin vise as well. And I'm surprised I've gone all the way through my life without those. Never had them. So I thought, right, I need those. So, pin vise and drills. The wheels, as I said, were extra. So, Slaters. This is, I forgot to mention that the actual kit is from the company Just Like the Real Thing, and they list the compatible wheels from Slaters to go with their kits. So you just look on Slaters website for the particular reference number, which is there, which is written on the instructions, and you order these direct from Slaters rather than Just Like the Real Thing. And these come with the axle and 2 wheels. So each set is a set of wheels, 2 wheels plus an axle. And so I've got 6 in there for the 12 wheels the Class 50 will need. That's those. I've also got some pickups, which again are not included in the kit. So these go on the bogie and face in towards the back of the wheel, pick up the current from that, and obviously you need 12 of those. There. I've got 2 tins here, one again from Just Like the Real Thing. This is plastic weld, which you can run down the seams to help join the body shell with the super glue, and this is also model clean, which will clean things like brass and any of the white metals or anything really where I need a clean joint. So I've got those as well. And the motor is included from Slaters, again, not included in the kit, I didn't mean to say that. The motor is here, So that is the motor here with the gearbox at this end, and there, I say there, just like the real thing, they have modified. I'm desperately trying to look right. Oh, there it is. Here we go. The bogies, on one of the bogies you fit one of the you fit a motor, so you've got one motor powering one bogie. Now on Kevin's Western, he had to cut a section out of the bogie so that the motor fitted in. This came already with the cutout already in it. So all what happens is that gearbox goes into that slot and slides down, and that's it, job done. And you just literally push that into the correct position and slide the axle through, and there is a cog in there which has to be aligned, and with that you have to have a chain and another sprocket, or two sprockets here, Delrin chain and two sprockets. And what will happen with that is that you put the gearbox in here with the axle running through with one of those sprockets, a chain runs across here to the other axle, so it gives you a four-wheel drive system. The centre axle here is floating, and as you can see it's got elongated holes so that when it's sitting on the track you're not going to get a seesaw effect, because the centre wheel will always take its shape and leave you with these two wheels resting on the track. These centre ones will just adjust to the height. So it's a nice little design, that. So that takes care of the kit, most of the accessories, but there's one other thing which I wanted to do, and that was I wanted to fit sound to it. And again, I've been looking at different sources for sound, and the one which I really settled on was Lego Man Biffo. I think that's the correct pronunciation. So I contacted him, and also just like the real thing, got advice from them, and I've seen a video of a Class 50 on YouTube with this decoder and this speaker. And the thing is that it's, you know what, it's starting to rain. It's going to get very noisy in here if it does, if you're in the conservatory. And that is the size of the speaker, which I'm going to fit into the chassis of the 50, having it pointing downwards. But the thing which really surprised me, because I've never seen one before, is that to drive all this lot, I want it DCC obviously. To drive all this lot I had to get a decoder for it, a sound decoder. But the sound decoder is nothing like I've ever seen before. Now all the sound I've got so far is obviously on 00, and we're now talking about O gauge, and you have to get a version 4 sound decoder from ESU, but you have to get the extra large version. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll get the extra large version, not actually realising what an extra large version decoder is. Never seen one ever. So it came and believe me, I was stunned, because that is the decoder. The size of it is just amazing, and it's really quite heavy too. So there's no wires like you get in a normal standard 8-pin decoder with the little tail which you plug in. It's you have to put all the wiring in through these terminals here. So that was one thing. So that is the sound decoder with all the sound on it going through that speaker here, and everything is just so much bigger in O gauge. Everything. It's not just the gauge, it's decoders, speakers, everything. It's amazing. So I thought, okay, so I've got the kit, I've got all the bits and pieces, the wheels, etc. Yep, okay, got the sound. One thing missing: smoke. I thought, really? Now, I'm not ever impressed with smoke on especially OO stuff, and it's primarily because the sleuth type decoders, that they're basically a kettle, and you heat them up, you heat the oil, and then it just comes out. It doesn't chuff to the rhythm of the cylinders or anything. It just comes up, and you have a lovely looking loco with sound on it going, but the smoke just going whatever, and it's coming out, and there's nothing to it. It's just like wispy smoke. So I've never bothered with smoke for my locos. However, speaking to the guys at Just Like the Real Thing, there is a solution, because if you get a version 4 extra large from ESU have now developed a smoke unit which is a digital smoke unit, and you can plug it in to that decoder and you set it with a lock programmer, ESU lock programmer. You program it, and you program it to either, first of all, is it a steam loco or a diesel loco, and it will know the difference between the two. So you, in this case, you program it for diesel, and then you program it again in, and you then go into it, and you would alter the settings as you would do on an ordinary decoder, so that it will come out at the correct rate for the engine speed. So instead of if it was a steam engine, it would chuff, it would go as you would do normally. On a diesel, as you know, it comes out like a jet almost, and depending on how hot you set the smoke unit, depends on how much smoke you start getting coming out. The only thing I'm unsure of is that, and I think it's possible, and Just Like the Real Thing also thinks that it's possible, is that within that, and looking at the instructions, it is possible, that obviously when you know that on a cold startup on a diesel, you do get a definite chuff coming out of the bang, 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 as the diesel's trying to catch. You get the chuffs coming out, like the clag. And I want to try and represent that as well. So, with that, I bought a digital smoke unit, and that has got its own little circuit board here. Just get up a minute. You can see it, that's got its own circuit board there, and it's got a plug which you plug in, and the cables which plugs into this effort here, the sound decoder. So it all wraps up very nicely into a nice neat unit. So I've got the decoder, the smoke unit, the speaker. So those three items there should give me all that lot. Okay, I don't know how to do it yet, but I will. I will find a way of doing all this. It shouldn't be that difficult. I've looked at the instructions, and okay, they're in German, but I found the English versions of it online, and it's doable. And the guys that Just Like the Real Thing and the Lego Biffo man, whatever he's called, he said that they will obviously help out as well if I get stuck. But I think I can sort this out, to be honest. It's looking at the instructions, it's very well labelled. I really can't see any reason why I can't do this. Considering I've done quite a few of the other ones by myself, then I can't really see any reason why this shouldn't work out. So that is it as regards the Class 50. So I'm going to have an absolute ball trying to put all this lot together. So I'm not in any hurry. I'm going to take my time over this. If it takes 6 months, a year, I don't care. It's something which I want to savour and enjoy. And no doubt I will get stuck along the way at periods of times, but there's always an email which I can go on to for several people's help. But I will cross that bridge when I come to it. But the first thing obviously is to start building the kit, and I think I've made my mind up that what I would do is do a chassis and bogie to start with, and perhaps leave the body until a bit later, because I really want to get the thing mobile on DC first. If I can get that running true on a piece of track, then I'll be happy. I can then proceed forward with the bodywork, but I really want to get the actual thing running first. So that's it. What a lovely birthday that was. I'm just so lucky to have got all this. I really am. But actually, you know what? That isn't it. Far from it. So let's put this lot to one side and I'll show you what else. So bear with me. I have been just utterly spoiled. I really have. Right. Now, put that there. Bear with me. There's still some more to put away. Right. Some of you may remember about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I managed to buy a Merchant Navy. It's just a magical logo. I love it. I never thought I would do, but this particular one, when I saw it, it just attracted me. It looked perfect, and I thought that would just look so lovely running around on Lakeside. Unfortunately, and when I saw this on Rob Farland, his layout, and he's got a cracking layout too. Smashing bloke, really lovely bloke, and we were talking, and I kind of thought, yeah, I've got to get this. It looks so lovely, but the problem was I didn't have any coaches. Not to run with it, but I thought, oh, don't worry about that. I'll sort the coaches out at a later date. So I got this anyway, and I was pulling this, if you remember, with some Pullmans on it. I think it was Pullmans I had running. And she looked lovely, and she went around the track fine, no problems. Now, unbeknown to me, my best buddy Ian, Diomede F16, saw the video and thought, got Graham's birthday coming up soon, so what should I get him? Oh, I know, I'll see if I can get him some of those coaches which should go with this. So let's put that over there. So I went and visited him a little while ago, and he gave me a carrier bag and said on strict instructions not to open this until the 21st of August, yesterday. Oh yeah, fine, okay. So the carry bag was put away, and yesterday when I got home from work, I started opening up all my presents and got to Ian's and started to unwrap. So, what did I get? I've got a reflection. How can I get rid of that? Oh, there you go. So one Mansell coach in green. Corridor. This one is a BR Mansell composite coach running number 5646. Excellent. Opened up another present. Oh well. Here we go. So this is a BR Mansell Corridor first class coach. Yeah, lovely. That will go well. 2 coaches to run behind the loco. Another box. Really? This is a BR Mansell Corridor third class coach. Wow. Looked in the carrier bag. Can't be. Yep. 4 coaches. This one being a third class coach. So I now have the 4 correct coaches to run behind that Merchant Navy. And that's all because he saw the video on YouTube and with me and Rob talking about what to get, what can't I get and so forth. So he took note and tracked these down and presented them with me for my birthday. What a bloke. Fantastic. The thing is that the carrier bag wasn't empty. Really? Let's put those to one side a minute, shall we? So there was another package in there, and when I opened it, there was that. A beautiful steamer. Now, I can't show you the detail on that very well, but I'll try. Look at that. Now I think I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these on Lakeside Village Green. I'm moving those. I'm going to put those all now, including this one, into the playing field area because I think they would look absolutely gorgeous sitting in that. And I'm going to have the Village Green. Now I shall put some vegetable stores and market stores in there as well, with people buying their goods on the day. And these I'm going to move to the playing area, the playing field area. But that is just a stunner. The detail on that is just, how do they do it? That is just amazing. So there was that. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what, with my class 50, the 4 coaches and this, I'm just getting overwhelmed with stuff. It was absolutely brilliant. The carrier bag wasn't empty. No, there was one left. Oh God, what's he done now? Well, let's have a look, see what he did do. This box was obviously bigger and heavier than the 4 other, or 5 other, presents wrapped up. I'm thinking, what is this? Unwrapped it, and obviously, being Helgian, I knew that there was some form of locomotive in there, but I didn't know what. I didn't look at the end to see what it said. I wanted it to be a surprise. So, let's open it up and see what it is. Now, I have taken this out of the box, obviously, and I have put a decoder in it, obviously. Well, is it obviously? Would I have a spare decoder? Probably not. So, there was one in the carrier bag, a decoder. So he knew that even if I didn't have a spare decoder, that there was one in there, so I wouldn't be stuck. Now, you probably can't see what this is yet because of the reflection on the packaging. But what it is, let's take it out. You may be able to guess what it is from there, I don't know. It's a Class 23 Baby Deltic. Just look at the detail on that from Helgen. Sprung buffers, all that lot is on when you buy it. I haven't had to put anything on that whatsoever. I have put the coupling on the back, but that's it. But that's how it comes, straight out of the box. So I fitted the decoder in it, put it on the, just dropped sweat on it, put decoder in it, put it on the test track and run it in for an hour, and it goes like hot snot off a shovel, to be honest. It bombs around. It is so quick. Far quicker than scale, but the power that thing has got. Now, in the instructions which I was reading, it's quite interesting instructions actually. It says that it's powerful enough to pour 16 coaches. If I put 16 coaches on Lakeside, they would join up. I'm pretty sure of that. But it is a very powerful loco. It's only 4 wheels per bogie, but they are, oh, it's not in view, is it? There we go. It's only 4 wheels per bogie, but all 4 wheels. So it's 8-wheel drive. But I couldn't get over the speed of it. It was like lightning. Amazing thing. But very slow, very controllable at slow speeds. 128 speed steps on that decoder, no problem. So I'm absolutely gobsmacked, I really did not expect all this. I've had such a wonderful birthday all round, because not only of the presents, but on Thursday I handed my notice in officially to retire at Christmas, and so that was another thing. So it's been quite an amazing experience these last couple of days, really. There is just, I just can't wait for next year when I'm at home. I've got so much to do, unbelievable. And really, I guess what I need to do is thank both my wife for that fantastic Class 50 kit, and also to Ian for these wonderful presents. I really have done so well this birthday, and I can't thank both of them enough. So it's down to me now to start the kit and put this on Lakeside with some wagons, I think, perhaps. Oh yeah, another thing is that reading the instructions, these were incredibly common going up the our main east coast line, which is the one which passes through our village, Offord, and it was saying that these were running on that line for most of the time, and they were stating the names of Stevenage, Hitchin, right the way up to as far as Peterborough. So these would have gone past Offord and maybe even stopped, because believe it or not, up until the beaching times we did have a railway station called the Offords, because the Offords consists of two villages. The village I live in, which is Offord Darcy, and another village which joins it, which is called Offord Cluny. And there was one railway station or platform for the village of the Offords. So it could well have been that these would have been stopping at the old station. Now, what am I thinking of? My new platform is called Offord Darcy, which ties in so well that this could go round legitimately on the top layer of Lakeside and stop off at the new platform called Offord Darcy. How brilliant is that? And that's pure coincidental, that, but it worked out perfectly. So there you go. No actual update this week as regards layout. Layout wise, I'm actually building all the framework underneath the baseboard at the moment in readiness for my fiddle yard. So nothing going above it, but plenty of stuff going beneath it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I haven't got a clue how long it's gone on for, but probably far too long. I will catch you again hopefully sometime next week. I say, hope you've enjoyed seeing all these things. Something a little different, but I really had to show you because I was so proud of all this lot. So right, bye for now, and have a great weekend, and hopefully speak to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.